My voice is silenced. My identity is silenced. My existence is silenced. My sexuality is silenced. My class is silenced. My background is silenced. And why I am here today? To break the silenced voices of society. I feel that I am part of my society. I am part of my culture. I am part of my tradition. And that to belonging to this beautiful world, which is just and awesome. The journey of being in the huge society I represent and come from is not so easy. Taking up each initiative to fight and combat for your identity, your sexuality, you're expressing about your self oneness, of just talking who accepts you, why they should accept you, or when they should accept you, and what's the need for you to accept the way you are today. I feel proud and pride to be part of the huge community who are being socially discriminated, socially excluded, stigmatized, oppressed communities, vulnerable sections, is that the Jogappa, Marladi, Shivashakti, Jogta, Akwa, Nirvan, Satla, Panti Satla, intersex, lesbian, gay, bisexual, pansexual, demisexual, asexual, and Hijra communities. I think I have composed a song which is for 2 minutes and 30 seconds in English. I wanted to sing this song because this song carries about what is Akkai's journey in brief. I born as me, my feelings changed. When I was 8 years, my feelings are feminine. I started behaving like a girl. I started walking like a girl. I started dressing like a girl. When my parents forced me to stop myself. When my parents forced me to stop myself. I was beaten up. I was locked up. I was tortured by my parents. My schoolmates, my college mates, my friend circle, my neighbors started teasing me like Chakka, like Wombat, like Sangha, something, something. I joined to work, colleagues came to know me, Femi, name. They started teasing, they started blaming, they started sexually harassing. There was nobody to ask these things. Started doing sex work, started doing sex work. I did for 4 years, I was not very happy. These kind of torture, violence, harassment is not facing only by me. There are other transgender who face similar problems. Where to live, where to share, where to express, where to survive our life. You should tell us, you should tell us, you should tell us what to do. Thank you. Knowing that this song has moved a lot, I know many of you are in tears. This is the connect between the human world and to uphold the justice of humanity and acceptance. I think as a community, why you are being discriminated, why you are being thrown out of the family institutions is not so easy. And I want to share my story. And through sharing story, I can really build a tomorrow's world of acceptance and loving. Until I share my story, till I die, I think that's what I strongly believe. Sharing story is not so easy in such a big audience. Sharing story needs guts. Sharing story needs an amount of passion. Sharing story needs an amount of self-acceptance, dignity, and voice. And today, we are struggling to access that sort of dignity, voice, and sexuality. I was born a male. I transformed to a female. In the process of transformation, I was not accepted by my families, my siblings, my brothers, my sisters, my own relatives, my neighbors. I think the whole section who discriminated you. And I'm not a degree holder or a PhD passed. I'm a 10th standard mathematics failed. But how this determination to be in the society, to speak for your life, to speak for your justice. I think being part of the Hijra culture, accepting the notion of fraternity, accepting the notion of, the plurality that is being part of the Hijra community. I was part of the Hijra community, did my sex work and did my begging for 4 years. Then I wanted to drop out this. No, I don't want to be in this profession of sex work and begging. I wanted to be in the mainstreaming. What is mainstreaming? Just to be with one amongst you. I think, what did my society do? Did it let? No, it didn't. It keeps saying that you are something different and we can't accept you. Then the question is, who is perfect? One who is not perfect. So this whole idea of perfection was really triggering me a lot, self-questioning a lot, and there are so many my people who are in the profession of begging and sex work today, and few of them are wanting to quit that profession, come here. But as Akkai, what is my responsibility? Yes, Akkai is a 10th grade failed. Akkai did not continue her education. Akkai was in sex work and begging. Akkai has seen so many false cases against her. Akkai fought against and fighting against all forms of social exclusion. Akkai is a person who is belonging to one very middle class, working class family, and my father was working with Ministry of Defense. Akkai has 2 siblings, with Anita, my elder sister, my younger sister. I just recently lost him. And I'm the founder of an organization called It's One Day, an idea of convergence, bringing every movement together to speak on the issues of gender, sex, and sexuality to build tomorrow's world of acceptance. Then the whole question of Akkai. Akkai is a person who got married and was into multiple relationships. And people said, you are looking something different. You cannot have, the so-called multiple relationships. So what? It's none of your business. It's my business. I decide my life, I decide my existence, and I decide my sexuality, and it's none of your business. If so, I want to question you back, who are you to judge? In the process of prideness, in the process of proudness, I would say that I am so happy for what I am today. I am least bothered about society, because as a society you have so much of social construct, and your social construct is something called patriarchy. It's so powered, it's so dominance, and I don't want to accept such dominance to justify your fulfillment of your gender stereotypical thinking notion. Akkai has dedicated her life to the movement of justice, speaking to the movement of social justice, knowing that many of my people who still die today do not have a dignity to cremate them or to bury them. So Akkai has decided to pledge her body to the Bangalore Medical College. After death, her body shall be given to the Bangalore Medical College for the medical purpose to use. So in the next process, Akkai also got married to a cis man. Being in the relationship of marriage, something that I was really appreciated and so moving and welcoming that thing. But the institution of marriage is again unorthodox, so patriarchal. So how do I raise my voice as a transgender woman, questioning the notion of patriarchy, questioning the notion of as being a transgender woman, questioning their power? So Akkai says, right to marry is my hakku. Right to divorce is also my hakku. Akkai has also adopted a baby called Avin Akkai Padmashali. I think today's topic on parenting about being a transgender person, what is parentinghood to you? My child, who is named as Akkai Padmashali, is just 4 years child. As a mother or as a woman, where I was judged because of my identity by my own existing family members, school teachers, friends, and many other sections of society. But as a mother, I do not want to do the same mistake to my child, because my child is 4 years and studying in a small school there. This society is so curious to know about, okay, what is your child's sex? They're so curious to know whether my child is a boy or a girl or something else. And the notion is also for society, okay, will you make your child like you only? I would say that as a mother, I'm not even bothered about my child's sex, gender, or sexuality. Let my child decide, and as a mother, I'm here to accept what my child says. So, this society's process of thinking needs to change in such context rather than judging people's identity. Knowing that as an Akkai, being into the profession of begging, profession of sex work in the name of tradition, culture, everything is it's open secret in society, but Akkai's future life, I would say it is challenging. Why it is challenging? And you know, right to marriage is not your fundamental right, but I would say right to having relationship, being in relationship, having your own existence of family is your fundamental right. And that right cannot be judged by a majoritarian, cannot be judged by a totalitarian society. If so, I would definitely take my resistance to fight against that sort of society. And the personal challenge for Akkai is definitely about how do I nurture my child? Because my child tomorrow sitting in such a huge auditorium, people may ask, what is your mother, what is your father, what is your etc. But what would the child reply? And what would the child consequences might be emerge in that situation? So this is something called a very sentimental, very, very crucial, very sensitive, and how do I address? But Akkai, as a person, I'm not here to address. I leave my child to society. Let my child and society be a society of its own to speak about the issues of, humanity, justice, and love. Our society of life is a public life, and we should build that momentum in society just to speak for people's issue, then stand for people's issue. And as a community who we belong to, the intersex, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, many, many other identities do not have space. And how do we bring up this space? How do we speak about the inclusive space for people who are being socially, systematically, culturally, traditionally has been excluded? In that process, Akkai is here. Till I die, my fight continues. Thank you, TEDxSJCC, for having Akkai Padmashali on this dais to speaking to the global audience, to say that statement. I would want to wind up here. Judge not, support gender identity. Judge not, support sexual diversity. Thank you so much, and yours, Akkai.